Renegade Immortal Episode 172. In the previous episode, Wang Lin faced the terrifying Hu Pao, a former disciple who had spent 10 long years honing his power with millions of soul fragments. All fueled by hatred and revenge, Hu Pao, once weak and broken, had now become a formidable force, determined to surpass his master and claim ultimate dominance. As he unleashed his massive army of soul fragments, it seemed that even Wang Lin could be overwhelmed. But Wang Lin, calm and composed, revealed the true power of the soul-refining spell, effortlessly taking control of the very souls Hu Pao had worked so hard to refine. In an instant, the tide turned, and Hu Pao's fury and ambition were crushed before Wang Lin's mastery. At the end of the previous episode, Wang Lin, still recovering from the madness induced by the celestial ascension fruit, sensed an even greater threat looming from the distant Black Tower. What will happen next? Stay tuned. And the story continues. The black-armored old man frowned, and his eyes suddenly lit up. First, he fixed his gaze on the river flowing in the sky above. Its presence was subtle yet terrifying, like the pulse of an incomprehensible power. After a moment's pause, his attention shifted to the sword energy left behind by Sword Saint Ling Tianao. His eyes glimmered as if they were burning with a hidden light. And he inhaled a sharp, cold breath. There is something mysterious about this river formed by his Tao, he said in a low voice, almost to himself, but it has only just been created. Its power is insufficient for anything more than a hint of strength. Yet this sword energy, it is extraordinarily strong, beyond what I expected. Whoever left this behind must be a peerless cultivator. I dare say, they may have already reached Nirvana Shatterer. Meanwhile, Wang Lin brought out his two most powerful hands. He did not intend to attack, his goal was not confrontation, but to shock and intimidate his opponent. The influence of the celestial ascension fruit had faded, and the madness that had once filled his mind was completely gone. He had regained full clarity and cunning. Wang Lin knew very well that the black-armored old man before him, let alone the hidden presence in the Black Tower, was someone he could not afford to challenge recklessly. The battlefield was silent, save for the faint, eerie sound of the underworld river flowing in the air. The sound itself carried a subtle pressure, like ripples of energy spreading across the surroundings, distorting the very air around them. Just then, a tremendous surge of divine sense erupted from the tower behind the old man. "Where did you learn that palm print?" The voice rolled across the battlefield like a thunderclap, echoing with immense authority. The ground beneath them began to shatter violently, cracking and upheaving with terrifying force. But the destruction halted exactly 100 feet before Wang Lin. He narrowed his eyes in recognition. This was the same voice that had caused him grievous injuries many times during his journey. If not for the power of his slaughter energy and the finger of death, he would have perished countless times already. "I learned it in the celestial realm," Wang Lin replied without hesitation. The voice muttered, almost in reflection, "Celestial realm, yes, he did once journey there." And just as quickly as it had appeared, the divine sense receded back into the tower, leaving behind a tense silence that pressed heavily on the battlefield. Wang Lin began to retreat cautiously, sweat forming on his brow. Now fully sober, he was painfully aware of the gap between his power and that of a late-stage ascendant cultivator. Without any hesitation, the black-armored old man leapt into the air like a streak of black lightning. His hand formed a seal, and he shouted, "Wind!" Immediately, a massive tornado erupted from the ground, tearing through the battlefield with earth-shattering force. Rocks, debris, and dust were hurled into the vortex, creating a torrent of destruction that surged directly toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression darkened. He raised his right hand to the sky, summoning the underworld river to descend. The river surged violently, clashing with the tornado. The reincarnation energy within the river radiated with tremendous force, absorbing and dissolving the tornado completely, scattering its debris harmlessly. "Such a young age, and yet you have already formed your own Tao. Truly not simple," the old man said, his voice calm but laced with hidden surprise. Forming another seal, he pointed to the sky and shouted, "Thunder!" The sky darkened violently as black clouds roiled and churned, forming grotesque, almost monstrous faces. A gap suddenly appeared, and from it descended a bolt of black thunder, falling at a speed that seemed faster than the eye could follow. Wang Lin's expression remained calm, but his body tensed. Raising his left pinky, he invoked the underworld finger. The underworld river responded to his command, flowing in perfect harmony with the movement of his finger. The river surged toward the descending black thunder. A deafening explosion tore across the battlefield as the thunder clashed with the river. Part of the river collapsed under the force, but the black thunder was completely destroyed. The black-armored old man's sneer deepened. "Your Tao is indeed powerful," he said, his tone carrying a hint of respect. He raised his right hand once more and shouted, "Rain!" Black raindrops fell from the sky like countless knives, each drop imbued with devilish energy. Wang Lin did not hesitate. With full confidence, he stepped directly into the underworld river, merging completely with it. In that instant, he and the river became one. His Tao and origin soul flowed into the river, fusing with it. The river responded as though alive. It surged violently, forming a dragon with Wang Lin at its head. The dragon roared, its voice shaking the heavens, carrying the essence of the underworld itself. The black rain paused in midair before shattering into black smoke, absorbed into the river dragon. The old man's voice rang out, tinged with both admiration and challenge. "What a perfect fusion with your Tao! Yet I do not believe your Tao could withstand even one blow from me. My armor possesses its own Tao. After all." The old man unleashed a relentless assault of elemental spells. Wind, rain, thunder, and lightning combined in a terrifying display. A vortex of wind appeared, drawing in the black smoke and black rain, while lightning coursed through the raindrops. The storm descended upon Wang Lin like a living nightmare, threatening to crush everything in its path. Wang Lin knew that a direct confrontation would be suicide. He reached into his bag of holding and drew the 1 billion soul flag. Instantly, 100 million soul fragments erupted, pouring into the underworld river. They fused into it, granting the river a soul, consciousness, and even intelligence. The river dragon surged with renewed strength, imbued with Wang Lin's Tao, killing intent, and the slaughter energy from between his eyebrows. The collision with the old man's attack produced a storm of explosions, shaking the battlefield and opening deep fissures across the ancient land. It was as if the very heavens and earth were being torn apart. Wang Lin's soul flag swept up countless scattered soul fragments, converting them into black gas and merging them with the river dragon. The black-armored old man's expression darkened as he observed Wang Lin's extraordinary display. He knew this was merely the beginning. Raising his armor, he revealed a sickle formed from concentrated devilish energy. The sickle crackled with terrifying power, shifting between corporeal and incorporeal states, exuding an aura that seemed to defy the natural laws of the world. A devil illusion emerged from the old man's brow, merging into the sickle, which then charged toward Wang Lin with lethal speed. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. At the tip of his finger, Sword Saint Ling Tianao's sword energy condensed. Ling Tianao, whose life revolved entirely around the art of swords, had created 4 small worlds and refined them into 4 sword gods. His skill and power were legendary, rivaling even the All-Seer on planet Tian Yun. The sword energy he left behind was unimaginable in its destructive force, a weapon capable of altering the course of this monumental battle. In this episode, we saw Wang Lin face the overwhelming power of a late-stage ascendant cultivator. Using his cunning and the underworld river, he merged with his Tao to create a living, intelligent river dragon, infused with millions of soul fragments and strands of slaughter energy. Despite the terrifying wind, rain, thunder, and lightning attacks from the black-armored old man, Wang Lin's strategic use of Sword Saint Ling Tianao's sword energy in the soul flag allowed him to hold his ground and counter the assault. This episode highlighted Wang Lin's growth, his mastery over his own Tao, and his ability to turn seemingly impossible situations to his advantage. What happens next? Stay tuned for the next episode of Renegade Immortal. If you enjoyed this episode or found it exciting, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive notifications for the latest episodes in Wang Lin's journey. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.